Check this out.
And here we go.
Thank you. I know you don't want to talk about campaign stuff, so I would just look for
I
your...
really don't.
I would just look for your
It's not even that I
insight
don't
then.
want to. I can't.
Then how about your
Peter.
insight as the most prominent political communicator in the world? The White House press
In the
secretary.
world?
In the world. White House press secretary.
In the world.
Does a person generally want to debate when they are winning or when they are losing?
I am not going to do political punditry from here, my friend. I'm just not going to do it.
So
I used to do that in my old job. I'm not going to do it from here.
So should we
This
see
job.
this sudden offer from the president to debate as a signal that you guys realize you need to change the subject after some really bad polling?
Here we go again.
We had a back and forth on polling yesterday, and it just goes back to the core of what I said to you, which is, look, this is a president that has had a pretty successful especially legislative tenure in the first 3.5 years, and has delivered on many things that are popular to the American people.
Oh, come on!
We're going to continue to talk about it. We're going to continue to travel the country and talk about investing for America. We're going to continue to talk about how we need to do more to lower costs for Americans. We get it. We understand how hard it is, as the president talks about being around the kitchen table, and how hard it is to make those difficult decisions sometimes every month on what you're going to pay for. So he gets that. And I just don't want to get into polling, any more details on polling. What I can say is the president is focused. He is laser focused on making sure we do everything that we can to give people, Americans, a little bit of breathing room. And that's what the president's going to continue to do. As it relates to the debate, you got to talk to the campaign about it. That is a question for the campaign, and I'm sure they are eager to answer your questions, Peter.
Then not a debate-specific question, but debate prep is
Oh, gosh.
something that traditionally can happen here at the White House. Who is going to stand in during the prep for Donald Trump?
Who's going to stand in? Do you want to stand in for Donald Trump? Do you want to do that? I can connect you with the campaign. That might be fun for you.
Actually, so you're saying I can go debate Joe Biden behind the scenes
You know
for
what?
as long as I want? Actually,
I think that might be fun for both of you. It might be fun for both of you. I think that might be fun. I don't have anything for you on that.
Is this fun for you?
Yeah, thanks, Karine. I'm going to ask you about how the president talks about inflation. So 2 times over the past 2 weeks, the president said inflation was 9% when he came into office. Is the president misleading Americans on that, or does he just not realize that inflation was 1.4%?
So, and thank you for the question, because I know that we got a lot of incoming on this yesterday. And look, what the president the point that he was making is that the factors that caused inflation was in place when he walked into the administration, when he took office. As you know, the pandemic caused inflation around the world to be by disrupting our economy and breaking our supply chains. As you know, we had to act quickly on dealing with the supply chain. He put together a task force. You saw the president do that. And just a couple of examples here, or one example, semiconductor shortages already existed when he took office. That increased costs on everything from auto parts to washing machines by some measures. It accounted for 1/3 of inflation in late 2021. Many countries saw worse inflation than we did, and obviously, and we have talked about this, we've been able to come out of that economic downturn in a better place than most of our counterparts across the globe.
What in God's name is that?
Reopening after the pandemic unavoidably increased inflation by unleashing pent-up demand. Inflation increased quickly as we reopened. Annualized core CPI in the second term of 2021 was 9%. And so he was talking about the factors that were in place that led to that. And look, and I said this earlier, I'm going to say it again, we're going to do everything, as we were talking about CPI, we're going to do everything that we can. This president is committed to doing everything that we can to fight inflation, and that's what the president was trying to speak to.
But COVID started in March of 2020, so those factors were in place for about a year before the president took office.
Look, the pandemic was happening, right? That caused inflation. That was happening. Supply chain was breaking our economy. That was happening. And it wasn't just us. It was globally. And they were, and other countries, our allies and partners, were seeing worse inflation than we were. And we are able to recover, and we are in a stronger position as we've recovered. But he was talking about what was in place, what was happening, the factors that led. And I talked about the second quarter of 2021, we saw that inflation was at 9%. So he was speaking specifically to the factors that led to that.
That's a damn lie.
You have the last.
Republicans on Capitol Hill have been accusing the president of violating the Impoundment Control Act, which is an impeachable offense, by withholding the bombs for Israel. Does the White House have a response to that? And what is the legal authority that the White House is citing for the president to withhold the weapons?
So look, I will say this. The administration, as you saw, we put out a SAP just yesterday, and that we just last night a statement of administration's policy about this particular the Israel Security Assistance Act. We said that we would veto that bill. The administration strongly opposes this attempt to constrain the president's ability to deploy U.S. security assistance consistent with U.S. foreign policy and national security objectives. This bill raises serious concerns about infringing of the president's authorities under Article 2 of the Constitution. So that is, to answer your question, it's under Article 2 of the Constitution, and that is our legal authority here. And with that,
the accusations that withholding the weapons violates the impoundment control.
I mean, I just said that we believe that it was in our legal authority to do so. We did. And we've been very clear. This is one shipment, as we talk about the Rafah operations and our concerns about a major military operations. And you've heard us. I went back and forth with some of your colleagues about our commitment. You heard it from Jake Sullivan. Our commitment to Israel's security is ironclad. We believe that they should be able to defend themselves. And that is going to be consistent. We're going to continue to say so. And when it comes to something, a potential major military operation in Rafah, we're going to share our concerns publicly. And
Really?
Does the president worry that he muddies the message he's trying to send to Israel by approving this new transfer of weapons so soon after he withheld the transfer of these 1,000 and 2,000 pound bombs?
So I don't think, no, to answer your question very directly, I think what Jake Sullivan did here on Monday, laying out the 10 parts of our commitment and how we're seeing the Middle East, obviously, in particular, the war in Israel and Gaza, and how we're moving forward, in supporting our friend, Israel. We've been very clear that when it comes to their security, that continues to be ironclad. There is no change there. We believe that they need to be able to defend themselves, just like the president was able to do when Iran, he was able to bring together a coalition. We saw 300 missiles and drones that were targeted at Israel, that we were able to step in and help, obviously, Israel defend itself. I think that shows how committed we are to their security. And we have said that it is one pause on these bombs, one package, one shipment, and that is obviously connected to Rafah and the potential, what could happen in Rafah, and we've been very clear about that. Those conversations continue. You heard Jake Sullivan say himself in the upcoming days, he's hoping to have a in-person, continuing that engagement that they've been having. There's been 2 virtual, but every day they're having these conversations with their counterparts. I'm talking about NSC and Jake, obviously, and his team.
You can bet your Aunt Susie's ass can on that.
And so we don't think that it muddies the waters. We've been very clear. Our commitment to Israel's security is ironclad, but when it comes to Rafah, where there is a densely populated citizens who are there, who are seeking refuge, more than 1 million. You heard that from Jake, you've heard that from us, you've heard that from the president. We want to make sure that there's a plan to protect their lives.
Did that go the way you thought it was going to go? Nope.
The decision to approve this weapons shipment now have anything to do with the bill that Republicans have introduced that would force the president to approve all military aid to Israel.
Here's what I would say. I think, again, our commitment to Israel's security is ironclad. That hasn't changed. We've been very clear about making sure that Israel's able to defend themselves against Iran, against their proxies. We've been very clear. Hezbollah attacks Israel almost every day, right? That's what we're seeing. And we have been very clear about making sure that they're able to defend themselves. And I can't speak to the process, the timing of this particular weapons transfer. That is something for the State Department to speak to, so I would have to leave it to them. Okay.
Really? That's it. You just roll over, show your belly every time somebody snarls.
Only when I've created a murder bomb.